List season is here. Lists. I think I get more excited for lists than I do Christmas now. I don't know what that means, honestly. Starting off with the underrated, overlooked albums I feel deserved more in the course of 2018. 2018, actually, towards the end of the year, has gotten way better than I think it did at the start. Like, the outlook for 2018 towards the beginning, even the middle, like about August, I was thinking, I don't know if this year's going to be that great, but it really threw some great surprises by the end. But as like every year, as great as the year for music may be, there are always albums that just go completely overlooked, completely, you know, underrated in the sense that, you know, people just aren't paying attention to them, and it's always worth shining a light on those albums because, you know, they deserve it. At least to me anyway. I mean, for her, you might not even like any of these albums that I'm going to mention, but at least try giving them a listen, give them a shot and see what you think. Just going to run down 5 I think deserve attention. Make sure you check out Rick the Lie's video on this too. He did 15 underrated albums, which is pretty damn fantastic, and there were certainly some great ones in there too, so give that a watch. Before I get into the proper list though, I just want to give a quick nod over to First Aid Kit. I know they got quite a bit of attention when this album came out. They released it at a good time actually, because January is a great time to release an album for a smaller artist, because, you know, there's just nothing out in January that can really draw attention away from you. So there was attention thrown towards this album by a lot of critics, but I just feel as though this album is genuinely one of the better country Americana folk albums we've had in recent years, and yet most people were just like, yeah, it's okay. It just baffles me, honestly. I genuinely see so much greatness listening to this album. The harmonies are wonderful, the instrumentals are really lush and lovely. So I just wanted to give this one more attention once again before the proper year-end list comes in, because this was really good. Now for the proper list, just going to run these down in no particular order. 5 releases, kicking it off with Khalab with the album Black Noise 2084. Black Noise 2084 is such a great combination of techno and African-inspired instrumentation coming together to create such an intricately detailed album. It's such a nice, fun listen, honestly. Like, you can dance around to any of these instrumentals because they are just so packed with color and flavor. I mean, just look at the album artwork. It is just so awesome. I think I'm going to give this one a few more listens to see if it can actually make my proper list. But it certainly went completely overlooked. I mean, it's just one of those times where electronic and techno and this style of music in the electronic world is taking off, and you're getting so many huge releases that gain so much attraction. You get your artists like Tim Hecker, you get your artists like John Hopkins, Against All Logic. They catch so much traction, and yet you always seem to find these obscure ones that are actually so much more fun to listen to that get nothing. Not to take anything away from those artists I just mentioned, as I do enjoy all their music, but the point is that it's just a weird time where you can just shine a light on one artist in the genre, but then something else that's equally as good just goes completely like nowhere. It goes nowhere. Yeah, it's such a great combination of African-inspired instrumentation. As I've already said, it is a great listen, honestly. You should definitely check this out if you haven't already. I love it when an artist can blend 2 styles of music together and it comes through sounding as good as it did. Honestly, this is good. This is really good. Next, on my underrated albums for 2018, Jericho Jackson, Khrysis and Elzhi come together, and they are Jericho Jackson. Now, for sure, I get why this one didn't really catch that many ears, to be honest. I mean, first of all, Elzhi as a rapper typically goes pretty overlooked whenever he drops anything. He came through with his, you know, Illmatic cover album in 2011, which gained some traction on the internet. 2016 he had Lead Poison, which again caught a little bit of traction, but as great as he is as an MC, as great as his concepts are, his rapping ability is just top notch. Some of the best rapping I think around right now. He somehow just doesn't seem to catch on many people. Now the one thing with this album was, for some people, was that it was just too boom bap inspired. It was too 90s influenced. The jazz instrumentation, the soul was all too familiar with them. But for me, I just feel like Khrysis produced this album immaculately. Like, yeah, sure, they're very familiar beats, they're very familiar sounds in the genre, but my god, are they freaking good. And you've got Elzhi, one of the best rappers around right now. I mean, I don't say that lightly. I do genuinely think he's such a good rapper, especially on tracks like Overthinking. Like, yeah, this is a great hip-hop release. It's a shame it just didn't really catch on to many people. I suppose he's quite a wordy rapper. That can put some people off. You have to dig into all the meanings and the metaphors behind everything, but when you do, it is so worth it because this man is a great MC. Next on the list is actually an EP, and we got Petite Noir with his really great EP, for real. Again, this just went completely overlooked, didn't it? Now, Petite Noir should actually be a very familiar name to you, as he was on Atrocity Exhibition, one of the most critically acclaimed albums of the decade, for very good reason. But you would think that with such a well-known feature that he was on, you would think that as an artist he would have managed to gain a bit more traction, but somehow he's kind of fallen by the wayside a little bit. Most mainstream, well-known critics pretty much gave this one a miss, despite the fact that he is producing such great music here. Danny Brown is actually on this EP again, and Danny Brown wasn't even the best part. That's crazy to think that Danny Brown is somewhere where he isn't the best part, because everywhere he goes he is incredible. The amount of passion and charisma that is thrown into these performances, the vocal performances from Petite are just fantastic. The instrumentation is brimming with so much vibrance. Again, like that Khalab album, it's completely African inspired, and Petite Noir just blemishes with these instrumentals and production choices. Everything is so well crafted on here. Maybe for some people this wasn't really that exciting, but I found every track to be pummeling with so much fire and energy. I genuinely think this is one of the greatest EPs we've had over the past couple of years. It's a shame that it went overlooked, but do check it out if you haven't already, because I would genuinely highly recommend this. Next picked on my list is Onry Ozzborn with the album Nervous Hand. Now, Onry Ozzborn is a rapper who you may liken to A$AP Rock, but I would definitely think you wouldn't listen to this album and think it's a complete, you know, play-by-play of just an A$AP Rock album. Onry Ozzborn is a great rapper who dabbles in the abstract hip-hop world, which again has quite a decent sized audience, but this album just seemed to go completely overlooked. Only really seen a couple of critics, including Mike Seatown, praise this one, but it's a real shame that this didn't catch on to more critics, because it really could have blown up over the internet if more people had given this the time of day. Generally in this genre it can be very hit or miss. I mean, you get amazing rappers who can rap for days about amazing and intricate themes, but then they often are rapping over pretty stale and uninteresting and bland production. Onry Ozzborn though ain't another one of those guys. This production right here is friggin' great. Like, so many of these tracks have fantastic beats. They're electronic-ish inspired at times as well, and it honestly works so well. So many great hooks. The guy can sing pretty well and make a pretty damn great chorus on tracks like Pretty Much, and again, the lyrical themes are fantastic. It's just all perfectly linked together in a 30-minute runtime of an album. It's barely even that long. So yeah, for me, definitely went overlooked. Absolutely could catch on to so many people, and loads of people would love this if they gave it a chance, so make sure you do if you haven't already. Finally, we're going to end off with probably the least well-known artist on this entire list, I would say. Surface to Air Missive. Not particularly a very well-known artist or band, so it's not like this one went overlooked, to be honest, because they're just not big enough to catch on to a big audience anyway. But they deserve to be here because they are kind of obscure and underground to the point where I think they just deserve more attention and more acclaim. This album to me is one of the most fun rock releases of the year. It's incredibly high energy. The drumming across this album is pretty damn fantastic. The vocals are so much fun and sing-alongy as well. It is pretty lo-fi for the most part, but that doesn't hold this album back at all. And yeah, indie rock this year is having a pretty damn good year, and this is just another one of those albums I would throw onto the pile of fun, energetic, great releases in the rock genre that deserves more attention. So I do hope you give this one a listen if you haven't already. And that is it. That is it. Underrated, overlooked albums of 2018. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got some recommendations from it as well. And let me know your list. Give me 5 albums that you feel as though deserved more this year. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please let me know if you've heard these releases. Do have a good day. Subscribe to the channel for more reviews. There will be more lists coming soon.